Got a little quiet. Got a little quiet.
I heard you guys talk about the Jake Paul fight that fell through.
Right.
Anyone have an opinion on what this next fight with Joshua is going to be like? Is it?
Yeah, man. My honest opinion, I think that this has been a misstep from Jake. I think he wanted to make his partners at Netflix a little too happy, and he's gonna walk into it. But like, look it, he loses to AJ. Where does he go from here? Like, who does he fight? You gonna go back down to 135? After
The problem is not that he loses to AJ. The problem is the way he gonna lose to AJ might be life changing.
Right.
So that's the real issue.
It could be life changing in many ways, right? Physically.
Yeah.
See what he did in Nakano? It's like, but then again, like, if he gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. Nobody really expects anything. So
it's a win-win for Jake, bro. It's a win-win. He wins. He loses. Nobody expects him to win. You know what I'm saying? So,
win, but who's he gonna like? I'm not gonna want to fight him after he gets knocked out. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
yeah, you would, bro. Why not? He'd still be a big fight.
You think the money's still there?
Yeah, I mean, he lost to fucking Tommy Fury, right? Who's not even like a good boxer. You lose to Anthony Joshua, a heavyweight champion. He's still pulling in bread even after the Fury loss. So
yeah, true. You're not wrong. And
Fury has a strong woman by his side. Of course, he's gonna win.
Yeah, Jake.
Keep that feminist shit out of here.
Mona, did he just say because he has this girl by his side, he's gonna win?
I was trolling.
No, you're good. That was a good troll. But yeah, like, man, he's good at bouncing back. That's good. Jake, no matter what happens to him, he knows how to like spin a narrative really well. If you watch like how he handles anything that negative happens to him, like him and Logan are good at that. They're definitely good at just going right after it.
Is this an exhibition or it's a pro fight?
It's a professional fight.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 rounds, 10-ounce gloves. It's a legit fight.
Wow. I mean, that's insane.
Ryan Garcia just said what everyone's thinking, but nobody wanted to say out loud. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua? Ryan's calling it straight up. This might be the biggest mistake of Jake's career. So here's what happened. On November 17th, the boxing world got hit with some wild news. Jake Paul was officially fighting Anthony Joshua in a professional heavyweight bout. Not an exhibition, not a sparring session, a real fight. And it's happening December 19th in Miami, Florida. Now, you might be wondering how we got here. Jake was supposed to fight Gervonta Davis on Netflix back on November 14th. That fight got canceled. Netflix still wanted a big Jake Paul fight before the year ended, so Jake's team started calling everyone. They reached out to Ryan Garcia, Terrence Crawford, and Francis Ngannou, anyone who could step in on short notice. Ryan Garcia was actually the first person to say no, but it wasn't even Ryan who declined. It was his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar made it simple.
I'll tell you why this fight is not going to happen. Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is.
Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN. Jake Paul fights on Netflix. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. This is business. It just doesn't happen that way. Here's the funny part, though. Anthony Joshua also has a contract with DAZN, but his promoter, Eddie Hearn, somehow found a way around it, and boom, Joshua became Jake's opponent. Ryan Garcia went on Ring Magazine's show on November 17th, and he didn't hold back. He said,
"This fight is probably the worst fight that Jake Paul could have taken. Out of all the fights he probably had a choice, myself, who else did they say? I forgot. The other guy, you know what I mean? That's worse. This is a big dude, heavyweight. Like, how you go from 135 to 225? It's going to be difficult, but..."
When they asked Ryan why he thinks Jake took this fight, he had an interesting answer.
Why do you think he takes it, Ryan?
He's just addicted to doing huge fights. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he has so many options. He's always looking for the guy that can make the most noise. All his picks that he's fought in the pros has been guys that have some name, whether they're...
But Ryan didn't stop there. He thinks he knows exactly what Jake's thinking.
He gets, maybe his chin is suspect. Maybe he's not even thinking about me, so I'm going to come in and somehow hit him with my right hand because he believes that his right hand is as strong as Wilder, the way he talks, like, my right hand is like this. So I think he's seen Dubai, I can't say his name.
Dubois.
Dubois,
That's what he's thinking.
Drop his with the right hand. Oh, I could do that. Like, that's my shot. You know what I mean?
What about respect, though? I think Jake Paul's at a point where he wants respect. Because I do think he's better than what people think he is. Right? Now, okay, now the stage is set. If he goes out there and battles with Anthony Joshua, we got to give Jake Paul
100%.
way more respect than we do now.
You know what?
That's the victory. Just taking the fight. If he actually steps into the ring with Anthony Joshua,
That's a victory.
That's a
That's
victory.
big.
Ryan brought up something specific. He said Jake probably watched Daniel Dubois knock down Anthony Joshua with the right hand. He thinks he's seen Dubois drop him with the right hand and say, "Oh, I can do that. That's my shot." Ryan finished by saying whatever Paul's reasoning for picking Joshua is, he has a tough task ahead of him. Then came the press conference. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua faced off for the first time. And when they stood face to face, everyone saw it. The size difference was absolutely insane. Anthony Joshua is 6 feet 6 inches tall with an 82-inch reach. He literally stared down at Jake. Jake had to lift his head up just to look into his eyes. Joshua towered over him and looked way bigger. Ryan watched that press conference and immediately went to social media. He posted, "I seriously doubt this Jake versus AJ fight takes place. It's too much of a disadvantage, just don't make sense." After the press conference, that's apparent. Ryan posted again to make it clear he wasn't trying to disrespect Jake. That's not a knock on Jake. Huge balls. And I think he's gotten much better, but it don't make sense. Well, Jake Paul saw those tweets and he fired back hard. Jake wrote, "What don't make sense is you fighting for a WBC belt after coming off an ass whooping by Rolly and 5 other things I could bring up. But hey, that's no knock on you. You have big? Nah, you ain't have big nothing." Ryan wasn't letting that slide. He responded, "My man is sensitive. Your insecurity about this matchup is apparent. You can suck a big one when I win this. And new." Ryan was talking about his own upcoming fight. He's facing Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight world title on February 21st next year. Now let me tell you about Ryan's situation real quick. This title shot is actually crazy when you think about it. Ryan just came off a year-long suspension. Then he came back and got knocked down by Rolly Romero. After that, he needed hand surgery. Everyone thought his career was basically over, but somehow Ryan got his chance at a world title again. But back to Jake and Joshua. The safety concerns are real. Ariel Helwani hosted the press conference and he brought up something important. He said, "I think the fair debate or discussion to have around Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is about safety. It is not hyperbole to say people die in boxing. Does this fight put Jake Paul at an excessive risk of serious damage?" There was a podcast discussion about this fight that went deep. Ryan Garcia said, "My honest opinion, I think that this has been a misstep from Jake. I think he wanted to make his partners at Netflix a little too happy and he's going to walk into it." Then they said something that really hit hard. They said he loses AJ, where does he go from here? Who does he fight? He going to go back down to 135? The problem is not that he loses to AJ. The problem is the way he going to lose to AJ might be life-changing. It could be life-changing in many ways, physically. Someone else in the conversation tried to say it's a win-win situation for Jake. They said if he wins, he wins. If he loses, nobody expects him to win. They pointed out that Jake still made money after losing to Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury isn't even considered a great boxer. Jake knows how to bounce back. Him and his brother Logan are really good at spinning narratives when bad things happen to him. But here's some information that makes this even crazier. This is a professional fight. 8 rounds, a completely legit fight, not an exhibition. And get this, Anthony Joshua was supposed to fight someone else. He was scheduled to fight Cash Chaney in what was supposed to be a surprise fight. Cash was already booked to fly over for it. Then the Jake Paul opportunity came up. Anthony wasn't going to turn down that money. Someone in the podcast said, "That means Anthony's already in shape?" Yes, yes! Oh my God, that makes it even worse for Jake. Even Joshua's training situation is wild. He's been training with Oleksandr Usyk. That's literally one of the best heavyweight boxers of all time. Joshua's getting elite preparation for a Jake Paul fight. Now, let's talk about Jake's actual chances. The podcast got brutally honest. Someone asked, if Jake would have had a chance, what would you think he should fight? The answer is, bring a gun. They weren't joking around anymore. I think the only way he's going to win if God really wants him to win. That's facts, bro. I don't know any other way. It's not going to happen, bro. Here's the thing. Jake has never fought a real heavyweight who's actually trying to hurt him. The Mike Tyson fight doesn't count. Mike was too old. He was 60 years old with no snap left in his punches. The biggest question is this. What happens when Jake gets hit by Anthony Joshua? Nobody knows how Jake reacts to a big punch. He's never been hit like that before in a real fight. Jake talks about how Anthony Joshua's chin is suspect and how he's getting knocked out. But about Jake, how's he going to react when that huge shot lands? They don't think he'll nap back and know what to do. Someone gave their honest odds. Out of 1,000,000 times if they fought, I think he could win maybe 1 out of the 1,000,000 times they fought. Then they talked about the nightmare scenario. Imagine he catches Anthony with an overhand right and hurts him. I'm done. I'm throwing everything. I'm leaving. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm gone. They kept going. Imagine he puts him out cold. If Jake Paul beats Anthony Joshua, it would be the biggest upset in the history of sports. In the history of sports. Not just boxing, in sports. The conclusion? We'll never hear the end of it ever. Jake Paul will be the greatest athlete of all time. Then came the warning. Bro, Anthony, he better take this serious. The money involved is insane too. Reports say the total prize purse is over $180 million. Robert Garcia, who used to train Anthony Joshua, put it this way. In the 90s growing up, everybody was saying, would you get knocked out by Mike Tyson for $1 million? And we all said yes. This guy's probably going to get knocked out, but he's making probably $50 million. For that kind of money, can't blame him either. At the press conference, Jake made some bold statements. He told Eddie Hearn, it's a massive mistake to look past me. I'm putting a stop to all those plans. I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Matchroom Boxing, changing the plans, and it's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year. Jake even said, I want him to cut me up. I want him to break my face. But guess what? He's going to have to kill me to stop me, and I'm ready to die. Anthony Joshua showed Jake some respect, though. He said, Jake is a serious fighter. You cannot underestimate anyone. After a year out, I've changed a lot in my life, realigned my energy, got my focus back where it needs to be, and distanced myself from distractions. I'm fully channeled and locked in now. I need to cut him up, break him up, and hurt him. Robert Garcia gave his prediction. Can't wait to see that right hand land. There's no doubt. I got to give credit to Jake Paul. He's a crazy man. He's making a lot of money. He's earned his position where he's at. He built himself little by little, fighting big names. That's huge, man. That's unbelievable. I gotta respect Jake Paul for doing stuff like this. More likely he'll get hurt, but for that kind of money, can't blame him either. December 19th is coming fast. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Ryan Garcia calls it a misstep. The size difference is enormous. The danger is real, but the fight is happening.